Good morning from South Western Railway. A few years ago, link in the corner, I made a video from Brookman's Park talking about how it was one of the first stations where you could pay using a bank contactless or a device card rather than Oyster. Well, last week at the beginning of February, 47 more stations were added to the contactless system, meaning that you can now pay using your card, but it's not Oyster, it's contactless. And I'm here on the Shepperton branch today to try out 4 stations and talk about the introduction of these new stations. So here's where the 47 new stations are, not just on South Western Railway, which I'm travelling on today, but also on LNWR, C2C and the Thameslink and South Eastern networks. Note, this is in addition to 6 stations on Chiltern Railways which were already added back in 2024. And these are all marked on the National Rail London and South East map with a contactless symbol, which shows you that you can use a contactless card to pay for travel at these stations.
This is Geoff speaking. Please disregard the announcement. Contactless payment cards, Apple Pay, Google Pay are valid to Shepperton. If you do have an Oyster card, you do need to have the correct ticket to travel on this train. Thank you.
Yeah, we're just leaving Hampton, Zone 6, so these 4 new stations are now in the new contactless area, not the Oyster area. I should point out I bought a paper ticket. My day started this morning at Vauxhall, so I've got a paper ticket down to Kempton Park, and then I'm going to use my bank contactless card to travel about. I know on the in-carriage map it still shows Oyster only, not contactless, but interestingly at Vauxhall this morning there was a big sign up saying you can now use contactless, and when I went to buy my paper ticket to Kempton Park it even splashed up on the screen of the ticket machine that I could, if I wanted to, use contactless payment. But we're going to get out at Kempton Park and then I'll start using my bank contactless card. I am outside of London, outside of Zone 6. It's a chilly grey day, thanks February. Kempton Park, I have got out here once before. I've passed through back in 2017 doing every station. I then came here on my quest to actually tick off and get out at every station a couple of years ago. So only the 2nd time I've got out here, 3rd time I've been to Kempton Park. Am I right in thinking, years ago, Kempton Park used to only be open on race days only because the racing course is right there, but now it's just open all the time. Okay, this is one of 4 new stations being added to the contactless area, and I think I'm also right in saying that the Greater London boundary is only 300 metres in that direction. So my friend Mike, I had a friend Mike that for years lived at Shepperton, and he used to say that it's weird how you sort of feel like you're on a London commuter train, which you are, but it's weird then that you can't use Oyster, but you now can use contactless. It's the same as, I've got a friend that lives in Staines. I quite often get the train from Clapham Vauxhall down to Staines, and I have to remember each time, because I forget, that Zone 6 and Oyster ends at Feltham, and then buy a ticket to get to Staines. Now I could just tap my card or my phone to get to and from Staines. There's a big sign here, pay as you go with contactless has arrived. Note, it's a bank contactless card, not an Oyster card. So I just saw the northbound train out on that side. There's a dot matrix over there, and I had to look up on my phone on an app for the southbound to Shepperton, because on the southbound I can't see a dot matrix on the southbound, and I will tap in right now over there on the pad. Bank card, bank card, bank card, bank card. Beep. Tapped in.
The next station is Overhaliford. Please mind the gap.
Okay, I went 2 stops, went through Sunbury, I've come to Upper Halliford, which appears to be right next to the M3, which accounts for all the traffic noise you can hear. Let's go and tap out and see if there's any signage or information about the new contactless stuff. Yeah, there's the poster here, pay as you go with contactless has expanded, and 2 Oyster pads, and I'm going to touch out on one. That's the touch out for my journey, and then I'm going to touch in again to go on a separate journey back to Sunbury. Excellent. Ooh, look at this, just found a big poster. Actually, there might be one of these at Kempton Park and I missed it. Pay as you go with Oyster and Oyster travel cards are valid in the pale yellow area. Those are zones 1 to 6. However, this station is not within the Oyster area. If you use an Oyster card beyond the yellow area, there's a penalty fare. You have to use contactless for these 4 stations, Kempton Park, Sunbury, Halliford and Shepperton, and all of the 47 new stations if you want to tap. Remember, you can just buy a regular paper ticket. Let's chat about that, but I'm going to get the train back to Sunbury first. Alright, arriving at Sunbury. Beep. I have made it to Sunbury, just tapped out my bank card for my second journey on Contactless of the day. Amusingly, I just got chatting to a guy who was like, "You're Geoff, aren't you?" I was like, "Yes, I am." He's like, "Are you doing a thing about the Contactless?" "Yes, I am." And they're thrilled because he's a regular commuter from Shepperton into London. And so yes, even though Shepperton, these 4 stations are outside of London, they were always very aware that Hampton was like the cut-off, the Zone 6 cut-off. And for them, they can now just tap their phone or tap their bank card and they're off commuting into central London or Clapham Junction or whatever. So they're saying it's great from that point of view that it is convenient. However, there are some examples where you maybe shouldn't tap in using a contactless card. So there's a leaflet just picked up in the racks at Sunbury. Fast, flexible, simple, pay as you go with contactless, with more details inside. I will read the leaflet on the train. I want to talk about why I have an Oyster card and concessions. There is a very specific case of when you shouldn't use a contactless card, and that is if you have a gold card like I do. I have an annual gold card which I then load onto my Oyster card, and that gets me a third off of off-peak fares. Also, you might have a concession pass or any other kind of rail card which gets you a discount, and in that case you shouldn't use contactless, because contactless basically charges the full adult fare, and the technology doesn't exist yet to load railcard discounts onto bank contactless cards. From the stuff I've read online, from the stuff I've read online, I'll leave that in. From the stuff I've read online, that technology might be coming. The day might come where discounts can be loaded onto a registered bank card as well, but it's not at the moment. So if you have a discount through a rail card or anything similar, don't use contactless. Just leaving Upper Halliford again, I'm going down to Shepperton. Been reading the leaflet. I should point out, by the way, that yes, I'm on South West Railway this morning, but as per the map earlier, you can now use this on, is it Thameslink and South Eastern, down to, I want to say, like Sevenoaks and Batterball down there. All of C2C out of Fenchurch Street going out to like Southend and Shoeburyness, you can now use it there. And also London North Western Railway, I think it goes up as far as Bletchley, and then on the Watford to St Albans Abbey line, contactless is now available on there. You also, it's worth pointing out, you don't have to use contactless. If you want to, it's just convenient. I quite like a paper ticket. I still enjoy going to an actual ticket office and having a conversation with an actual human and going, "Hello, good morning, how are you?" And sometimes humans just know the best way to get the best price tickets. So I like using a ticket office. If not, second choice, ticket machine. And then sometimes, yes, I will buy a mobile ticket on my phone. Or in these cases, you can just now use contactless. And to help you understand it more, I was digging around on the internet late last night and I found a whole bunch of maps and extra resources and information which I shall present to you now. So first of all, there's this on the National Rail website, the pay-as-you-go with contactless map, which shows you all the stations right now that you can pay with contactless. I say right now because later in 2025 there are even more stations being added. Here's a list of the next 49 stations which should be getting contactless technology added to them later in 2025, and the area expands again. And it could expand even further, going by this map which I found from an old London Reconnections article, showing that there's potential in the future to keep on expanding and go all the way to places such as Alton, Bedford, Brighton, even Cambridge, way outside of London. All of these are linked in the description, as is this next thing which I implore you to know about the most, and that's the Single Fare Finder website. Here you can see how much a contactless journey will actually cost you, because there are some anomalies. We discovered that if you tap in at Virginia Water, as you now can do, and travel on a direct train to Reading and tap out, as you can do, then it looks as if the system assumes that you've gone via Waterloo, the Tube and Paddington instead, and charges you a silly amount of money. Buying a regular ticket and taking the direct train is of course the thing to do. You wouldn't go via London. That oddity has existed for a while at Gatwick as well, where you can tap in with contactless and travel to Reading. The way to go is on a direct GWR train, for which you buy a regular ticket. But if you did do this journey using contactless, the system assumes you've got there via central London, changing at Farringdon, and charges you accordingly. So beware the anomalies, and the advice is always check the single fare finder first. Oh yeah, forgot to mention, I got on the classic blue and grey liveried train, which is just a nice touch. Shepperton, I've only been here once before. I can't remember much about it. I need to find somewhere to go do my summing up. So yes, it is easy and convenient, but there are some caveats. I've already mentioned the discount with the rail card caveat. The other one is to say, use that single fare finder. The link is in the description to check first before you start using Contactless to see how much your journey is between station A and station B, particularly the price difference between the peak and off-peak. And in some cases, I've heard there's now an evening peak coming back as well, where previously there wasn't. That was introduced like a year ago in readiness for this being rolled out. Check how much it's going to cost you on the single fare finder first, and then if it's the price you're happy with, go ahead, use Contactless, and it is very convenient, no need to buy a ticket. But in some cases it may be more pertinent to still buy an actual ticket. That list of stations also, there's 49 newer stations coming out of that list which I showed you on screen just now. I think the most intriguing one is Stansted Airport, because for ages some people have been caught out tapping in at Tottenham Hale or Liverpool Street, only to find that when they get to Stansted Airport you can't tap out there and there's a penalty fare payable because you should have bought a ticket. If they expand it to Stansted, that will be handy. And in fact, I think on that map I showed you, it's got the potential to go to Brighton and to Cambridge and all over, and it makes you just wonder, well, hang on, where is this going to stop? And basically one day in my lifetime, will the whole country just be one big network where you can just tap in with a device or something and nobody buys tickets anymore? Oh, that's a scary thought. I hadn't thought of that. Anyway, lots of links in the description. I hope this has been a useful insight. Contactless to 47 new stations and 49 other stations coming later this year in 2025. Thanks for watching. If you like this kind of stuff, press subscribe. See you soon. Bye.